Now, there were two movies in 1982 that were very closely tied to video games. First was Tron. Both Tron the movie and the arcade game were released in the same year.
Okay, so Tron the arcade game, again, one of those wonderful control schemes, spinner in one hand, gun in the other, blacklight, awesome cabinet, minigame collection, really cool, great music. But that movie, I mean, Scott, you're kind of the...
Well, have you guys seen it recently? Because it doesn't hold up.
Which is interesting.
But it was so awesome.
Yeah, I saw it a couple years ago, and it's cool. I'm glad it exists, but yeah, it's pretty
Well, I mean,
cheesy.
it was so, I mean, it looks like it's this neon trip, right, basically. And I mean, I think, at the time it came out, like the idea of the video game was a thing that the general public, kids went to the arcade. The parents would send the kid to the arcade to get rid of them for a half hour while they were shopping or whatever. And so Tron gave this idea of the computer world and the game world, and of course it was all completely off base and wrong, but so psychedelic and cool and weird.
I take issue with your critical assessment, sir. This is a movie where Bill Gates and Steve Jobs join forces to defeat an evil computer.
There you go.
And that's really what's going on with Flynn and the other characters here, and I love it. It's so dumb, but it's just ridiculous and wonderful, and a celebration of all these new things that were happening, and the effects for the time, especially.
Yeah, it is really impressive for the time.
Well, and nowadays when you talk to a lot of these guys who are sort of leading effects specialists in Hollywood, they all worked on Tron. They were all low-level guys at the time, and they all were there helping to make that movie. And now they're kind of running the effects side of Hollywood. So its impact there alone is amazing.
Yeah, Tron had this like forbidden magic to me about it, because like when I was about 4 when the movie came out, and then like I remember shortly after that my parents were watching it on VHS. But they would not let me. They wouldn't let me watch it. I don't remember why. There's only 2 movies my parents were ever like, no, you can't watch that, and it was Tron and Terminator.
What was it about Tron that they?
No, I have no idea. Now, as an older person, I'm realizing they probably just wanted a date night. They just wanted to be downstairs alone watching a cool movie without their kid ruining it for them. Yeah. But that didn't stop me. I mean, I very quietly snuck down to, because like the way my house was, the stairs came down, and then there was a door right into the living room. The TV was right there, so I kind of was like on the 3rd step up and just looking at the colors. I didn't understand at all what was going on at 4 years old, but I knew that it was for me. I didn't actually watch it until I was maybe 13 or 14. And I remember not being able to fully connect with it the way I hoped I would be able to after hearing how much of a classic it was.
Right.
And I think you're right. It hasn't, in my opinion, even having seen it 20 years ago, at that point, I didn't think it had aged well.
Can we all agree that it's awesome?
We can agree that it's
I think
very awesome.
it's a movie that is so very much of its moment in time.
It is.
I think that's what it is, and it perfectly sort of encapsulates the spirit of the time in terms of computers becoming this thing and gaming and everything. But when you look back at it now, it's kind of like, well, it's cute.
It's an important movie. Pixar has said there would be no Toy Story if it weren't for Tron.
Yeah, sure. And now it sounds like a 3rd one is finally happening as well. So, yeah.